Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 69, and I am your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we are excited to have back with us the internationally acclaimed founder of Etan Comics, Beserat Debebe.
Debebe. There you go. You got it.
I said it before, and I remember that was the last time I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Debebe. All right.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And you're here. You're going to talk to us about your latest Kickstarter, JEMBER, with JEMBER: Becoming Somebody, hardcover edition. So along with some other stuff. So Beserat, I was looking at it. You were on, we were talking before we went on the air, you were on late August, episode 29. So 40 episodes later.
Yeah.
Here you are.
40 episodes. Amazing.
40 episodes later. Yeah. So it's,
incredible.
Yeah.
You've done 40 episodes between. Oh, wow.
Yeah, 40.
That's
so
awesome.
I think every 40 episodes, Beserat, we got to have you come back on every 40 episodes.
Yeah. I like that.
So yeah, you have to be back on episode 109, and we'll just keep, and then 149. We'll just keep pushing it on every 40 episodes. So this has been great. I mean, we're looking at your Kickstarter. Your Kickstarter has succeeded. You still halfway through. You got, as of this recording, as live, you have 16 days left on it. Over you have 275 backers right now, and this is great. So as a returning guest, we don't have to go into the whole details of who you are, what you are, because what we'll do is that we will link. All right, let me make sure I do this in post. We will link up here. Click this link. There'll be a link up there. Click this link and you'll see Beserat's original video interview we did with you. But first, so before we jump into your Kickstarter, do you want to just tell people about Etan Comics and what its mission is and all that stuff?
Yes, and I'll keep it short. If you have any questions, you can kind of dig in. So really, Etan Comics is like a platform that we started about 3 years ago. Our whole goal is to tell we're kind of an all-African team. It's like right now it's like we're a handful, and it's like part Nigerians and part Ethiopians. So we're an all-African team. Our goal is really to tell these awesome kind of fantasy and superhero stories that are inspired by African mythology, African history, and just like the present day life of Africans, to tell these awesome stories in graphic novel format, and kind of carve our own space. I feel like the Japanese have their manga, and US and Europe have comics, and I think that Africans have so much to offer to this medium, and that we can and should carve our own space for it, our own form of storytelling, whether it's through a new style of art or new form of storytelling. And that's really our goal, and in that process, entertain people and also celebrate diverse families.
And so I wonder, when you're on last, so you're, we went down a rabbit hole back in late August talking about all the possibilities of 54 countries in Africa, and is representation and creating this giant conglomerate of this this nation of African superheroes. And we can talk about that for hours. What I want to do is really let's talk about this Kickstarter, because this so everybody, check it out right now. You got 16 days left on it. You're well over your pledge, so now you're knocking on doing some of these stretch goals right now. Do you want to tell people quickly about this latest Kickstarter you're doing, the JEMBER one?
Yeah, definitely. So it's really a culmination point for us with this Kickstarter. JEMBER was the first series we published. We published 3 years ago, JEMBER issue 1. We actually published it 1 week after the Black Panther movie came out, and so it was a big hit at the time. We had a lot of great reception, and ever since then, every year or so, we would publish another issue advancing the story. And now we've reached a point where we are putting it all together in addition to new content. We're putting it all together into one hardcover book, a 120-page book now, because our stretch goal had got unlocked. Originally, we had a 112 book, but we're putting it all together into one hardcover volume that people can binge read. It wraps up the first arc of the story. And to give a little bit about JEMBER and what his story is, you know, as much as I love stories of that kind of show and build upon, like Wakanda and Zamunda, like these fantasy African kingdoms, one of my dreams, and I think one of the things I really wanted to do was tell stories about present day Africans in their present day lives and how awesome they can be in that. And so this story is set in present day Ethiopia, present day Addis Ababa, the capital city. It follows this young kid who just graduated, but is jobless. He doesn't have any job, and he's looking to make ends meet and support everybody around him. But he can't, and so he's contemplating leaving the city behind. And during that time, he finds something that gives him abilities, and now he has a choice to make. It's about him, struggling with the choice of, all right, do I help myself and kind of revitalize my life, help the people that are around me that I just care about, or do I need to, is there an obligation? Just because you have a power, do you have an obligation to help a community that in the past I feel has neglected me or made me feel like a nobody? When I was looking for a job, you weren't there for me. When I was struggling, you weren't there for me. Now you want me to be there for you. Is that my obligation? And then on top of that, what present day, I think the context of present day African countries puts in is like all these traditions, whether it's related to faith and religion or other things, that paint supernatural beings as enemies or as voodoo, as like, oh, I don't want to be messing with this, right? So immediately there, by just getting abilities, you become isolated. You become some force that people don't want to associate their self with. You become a threat in a way. So now, do you even help when people are not only treating you like a nobody or have treated you like a nobody, but now they even see you like a threat? Are you still obligated to offer help, or do you just do your own thing, live your best life, and just move on with your powers? He's contemplating this choice, and so you get to kind of see all this dynamic play out. You get to see life from a perspective of an Ethiopian, a regular African, and just see what it means to like have power and kind of overcome the feeling of hopelessness that you are hit with sometimes when you have no job and when you feel defeated and you can't support the people around you.
So when you're working on this story, because as I said, so this this Kickstarter it's all four. Well, because now it's the fourth comic. Yeah. So it's the 4 issues of JEMBER together plus 2 issues of Howie. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's a good point. So we created 2 stories, right? I'm sure your previous we talked about in the previous right. meeting we had. So one of them is JEMBER and the other one is Howie, and they're both in one universe. Their stories will interconnect, and so but in this Kickstarter you're able to get either one or both. And okay. the Howie story is more of a fantasy story. It follows this first-gen immigrant, a girl born in Ethiopia but had to travel to America, and then she happens to come back and try to explore, her background, but then her mother gets kidnapped and she has to go into this whole fantasy realm to kind of save her and all that stuff. And these 2 stories, one story set in present day Africa, and another one set in this fantasy realm that kind of takes you back to this, Ethiopian historical mythological realm. You see these 2 merging, and you kind of like get the taste of these different time spans of African storytelling.
So talk to us a bit about your tier level here, and then once we go through that, then what I'll do is I'll ask you some questions on behalf of people who might be thinking about doing their own Kickstarters, and what was your thought process in some of these tiers. So walk us through your tier levels here.
Okay, sure. So whenever I come up with tiers, I try to think about the two types of customers that come to a Kickstarter page. The first ones are returning backers, people who have backed your campaigns previously or supported your stories previously. They already know how all the content that you put out, and so you want to like have something new for them to get out of your campaign. So that's one part, and then the other part is new customers or new fans who've just heard of you. We all like to think that our stories are like widespread sometimes, but you actually get to realize that people have not heard of you at all during these campaigns, because you just see this influx of new people like, what is this, an Ethiopian superhero? I want it. So that's how I decide. So I say, okay, for returning backers, I'm going to set up the new book alone. If you wanted just the new book, you can get the new book. So for example, JEMBER issue 4 is the brand new book that's not been released. Everybody in the past may have gotten JEMBER issues 1, 2, and 3. So they have they can just get the JEMBER issue 4, whether it's digital or it's print, they can get that. And then when you go when you go to the next one, it's more targeted towards the new customers, where JEMBER Volume 1, the digital right there, is you can get the 112-page book all in PDF to binge read. It contains issues 1, 2, 3, and 4 all put together, and you can binge read it. This is more targeted for new customers. And then you can see the next one is as well.
Beserate, that's 112 pages. That is great. That is a great deal for $14 for 112 pages of comic book.
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's a good way to because another thing I think about is in the past when I ran Kickstarters, I've found that people like these whether it's shipping cost or like storage space or whatever the case may be, sometimes they can be barriers for people to access our Kickstarters, and I hate whenever like these extra costs become barriers to enjoying our stories and for people to be exposed to them. So I try to put together a reward tier that makes sense, something that doesn't that helps us financially just somewhat, or at least doesn't make us lose money, and at the same time also invites more people to just enjoy these stories. Go ahead if you had a question.
Well, then you had, and yeah, so if you want to go to the next pledge level.
One.
So
yes. So before I go to the next level, I just want to say we have had early bird. If you scroll all the way down on the reward tiers, so the early bird reward tiers, like it says all gone, like $35 tier, and then there's a few more that we did. The early bird tiers are really targeted towards returning backers, right? Because they are the ones that immediately want to go and get the next best book, or they know already what you bring to the table, right? So and when you do Kickstarters, it's important for you to have momentum when you start out, and so having early bird rewards helps you bring those the previous backers you've had back, and entice them to get the most out of the campaign early on. And then if they want to obviously change their pledge and increase, they can do that throughout the whole campaign. And so
right here, it looks like that you either had, so I've seen some Kickstarters would have those early birds where it wouldn't be a time value on it. It would be, it would be like amount, like we only have 5 of these, or we only have 10 of these. So I like your idea of keeping it, because it's keeping it true to the fact of these are the returning people. They know about this. They got notifications, and you're honoring basically your fan base. I like that.
Exactly. And we always give like a 72-hour time frame, within the first 3 days, begin the
Right.
campaign, and we offer like shirts, we offer posters. I think we were talking about this before we went live. All these kind of exclusive rewards that they haven't been able to get in the past campaigns. We want to
Right.
offer them early on for these returning backers, and then we go to that the $30 tier that you see on volume one, the $14 tier for the PDF. These are all primarily targeted to new backers. Of course, existing backers and returning backers can access them as well.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's mainly for people who are just coming in and saying, wow, all right, a volume one hardcover, a 120-page book, with free shipping. That's a good deal. I want to get in. So that kind of allows them to like binge read everything. And then we also pack in like these extra PDFs, in the meantime while they wait for the print of the book. The book is 100% complete. So we like giving the prints out the digital's out while people wait for the prints to arrive in case they just want to enjoy, read the book. And so that's what we do with that $30 tier. And then the higher you go up, what you have is you get more stories, right? You get how we
Okay.
issue one and issue two included. You can see how the universe is interconnected. And then the higher and higher you go up, you get like signed books, or you get stickers, you get just cool, like more and more stuff that makes you more immersed to the universe and what we're trying to create.
So I gotta ask you, I love this little. So tell me about the Zoom backgrounds. Who came up with
Yeah,
that idea? That's brilliant. Who came up with that idea?
I
That was
did.
you?
Yeah. So you know how I came up with that? That was like when we did the early bird rewards, one of the things we were offering was 30-minute Zoom sessions with me, right? And I just said, hey, you know what? Like, you've been backing us, you've been supporting us. I want to meet you. And if you want to just hang out with me, early bird, just come on and get it, right? And then I
Right.
was like, oh, okay, but what else can I do? Because that can quickly get unsustainable if I offer it to everybody. And so I said, all right, but then what can I do for just, any new backer that comes in? And in the current day to day, we're all in Zoom meetings. Why not have something that we rep and have fun with on our Zoom background? So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm
Right.
gonna add that in. So yeah, it's I want to, like, when I think about Kickstarters, I want to make it like I want to think about what would make it special for both digital tier backers and physical pledge backers. And I like thinking about how do I become more immersed in their lives and help them out and just seamlessly make them have fun.
Right.
So that's how that came about.
And on there too, I noticed that. So, I gotta say, I mean, I've I've known you for 6 months now, Beserat.
Yeah.
So but I can't help but to thinking how much fun you have making these tier levels.
Yeah.
The it's kind of, it looks like you have a great time, because I look at these, some tier levels you send Kickstarters are kind of dry. It's like, I
Yeah.
get this, I get this. You can tell there's so much heart behind this, where you want to throw in things like you have. Tell us about the poetry anthology.
Oh
What?
my God. Yeah.
Tell me
So
about
one
that.
one of the most amazing things that happened with this campaign is uh, we were able to partner with Maaza Mengiste. She is this Booker Prize nominated author, Ethiopian author. In 2020, she had a book published called The Shadow King, and she was nominated for the Booker Prize for it. Now, she is like, when it comes to authors, she's in like the stratosphere. Like, she is huge right now.
Yeah.
And I I was like, let me just see if she would be interested at all. Because she's Ethiopian, I'm Ethiopian. She's also, I follow her on her social media, and I always like, see her encouraging African artists, writers, and really like trying to be a powerful force in the community. And so
Right.
I reached out to her and said, I know you're probably busy, and this might be a long shot, but I would love for you to write the forward for our book. It's a huge milestone for us. Here's the book if you want to take a look at it. And she actually had already heard about
Oh
our
wow.
work, which I was like, what? And so she like sent back and said, yeah, I would love to help out however I can. She was really awesome about it. And so just when I was so excited about just having that, she also was like, you know what? Another thing you can do is talk to these, like, she connected me to these editors who are like, they have this anthology that we just published. She said she was kind of a part of the organizing of it. And so she connected me with them and said, this is a great way to kind of work together, highlight Ethiopian artists, Ethiopian writers, or, all these different segments that are intersecting. And I was like, why not? And then I connected with them, and it's like that poetry, the songs we learn from trees poetry, is the first Ethiopian poetry translated into English. Like, I'm not even like saying it right, because like Ethiopian poetry in the past has always been written in Amharic, and
Right.
or like the Ethiopian languages, and it's like a haiku, right? And it's like somebody translating the haiku and rewriting it in English, right? And it's written by these best-selling poetry authors and really, really known kind of writers. And so I asked, like, hey, do you think that this is, can you provide us a snippet of this? Something I think my backers would love it. And they're like, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, man, like, is the star lighting up for this, or what's going on? And so we added that on every tier, every digital tier. Or I think every
Wow.
digital tier except the first
The
digital
first
tier.
one. Right.
Yeah, has that poetry. Just again, like, to really like elevate the experience of the backers. While you're waiting, enjoy the volume one, enjoy the poetry, enjoy all these other Zoom backgrounds, enjoy, just make it fun for them. Another thing I like to do usually was also name the tiers like something fun. I did that in the How We campaigns, and I
Right.
wanted to do that, but I totally forgot on this one because I was like overwhelmed with all the different things I had to do. But yeah, I try to have fun with it as much as I can, because otherwise you just drive yourself crazy with this stuff.
And what are some of the things, because this is your fourth Kickstarter?
Fourth, correct. Yeah.
What's the new, I mean, other than the poetry piece and the Zoom backgrounds, is there anything else that from the actual implementation of the Kickstarter that you did differently as compared to your last ones?
I would say that there are a few things. Like, just because this was the first time we're printing a hardcover, a thick book, right? It's like the weight of the book is more, shipping cost is more. So you had to really like think about that. The goal was higher, and even when I constructed the tiers, like, mind you, we already have about 10 books published, 5 in English, 5 in Amharic. And
Right.
so I needed to like make the tiers such that they could accommodate to like these both customers, like returning and new customers, but at the same time not be overwhelming, because people don't like to be confused with a paradox of choice, right? If you just like list 10,000 tiers saying, oh, in this tier you get this one book, and the next one you
Right.
get one book and another book. Like, if you do that, they get overwhelmed and they can get easily lose their attention. So I really had to think about how to structure it, how many tiers I want. And then the other, I think, feature is the add-on feature, which Kickstarter introduced
Okay.
recently.
Yeah.
In the past, add-ons were done with, in the back end.
Backer kit. Right. Yeah.
Exactly, the backer kit, like when you are
Yeah.
doing fulfillment. Now you can just do add-ons onto Kickstarter. It's still a work in progress, but it definitely does make life easier when you set it up. And I'm glad I set it up, because a lot of people are getting back, add-ons and customizing their tiers to their preference.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what would be, with that said, talk to us a bit about why hardcover. Was that a decision you were just set on? Is there, or what was the decision being set of just making a softcover collection? What was the decision of making a hardcover?
So I actually contemplated doing soft cover, and I probably will do that in the future. Not right now, but in the future, just because I feel like sometimes hardcovers can present themselves as a barrier for a price barrier because they are high quality. But really, it's the reason I changed my mind is just because I wanted to either go big or go home. And I was like, all right, look, this book is like the first Ethiopian superhero story. It's been featured on all these amazing platforms, BBC and blah, blah, blah. It has Maaza Mengiste's forward. I'm like, I had to go for this hardcover. Like, I have to just, that's it, seal the deal. Like, if I go all out and just make it so special. And I knew also that a lot of people on Kickstarter especially love hardcovers. And I've seen a lot of hardcover campaigns be very successful. And so I said, you know what, let me do it that way. And look what happened. I mean, thank God. Like I was telling you before the like our interview started, it was like my biggest expectation was like 50% funded at the end of week one.
Right.
And here I am, fully funded and still, it's keeping rolling. And I'm like, wow, blown away, man.
So yeah, let's just pull back in and look again at some of these other ones. So we were at $30, and this is your hardcover. This is basically your bread and butter. This one right here is what the heart of the Kickstarter is. It's volume 1 hardcover, and you get the book, you get a PDF version of it. You also get, as you said, the poetry anthology. And so free domestic shipping. That was my other question.
Yeah.
How did that affect your price point?
Yes. I mean, like I always try to factor in all the cost of the book and the shipping when I try to do these tiers. And for Kickstarter backers, one thing I always kind of have been feeling ever since I launched is, the Kickstarter backers are the backers that are like literally bringing this book alive. Like, they should get the best deal that you can offer. And so I was like, okay, if I can offer, if I can at least take shipping, if I can eat the cost of shipping for them, that's like, I think that's a big thing on top of offering these digital rewards. So I really factor that in. And I try to take it into account even with the printing cost, and it made sense. When I go to the Kickstarter, I don't particularly use it to be like, oh, this is my income source, or I guess where I want to make my money. And I see Kickstarter backers as the backers that deserve the best discounts. So I try to make sure that as long as it doesn't hurt our budget too much, and I can take it on, and I can literally before I do these campaigns, every tier I always say, all right, what is the cost of this tier? What is the true cost of this tier? What is the price point that people kind of accept, right? And I felt like, yeah, I should take, I could eat the shipping cost.
Right. Okay. And is that something that you saw in other Kickstarters that you like you're saying earlier, like, man, now it's going to cost me extra? Have you seen, because of that, offering that for free domestic shipping, have you seen that there's been put some barriers into, say, your, maybe potential backers in Canada or Ethiopia or other parts of the world?
No. So international backers, what I did with this campaign, which was a first time for me, was for early birds, I said we're gonna go halfway with you for international shipping.
Okay.
Now that was a big play.
Wow.
I mean, I'm very happy I did it because I did look at the numbers and make sure that we can take that on. But again, as I told you, it's like early birds are 72 hours, and that's when I like try to offer like the best bargains we have. And then in the past, after that, we always go back to regular pricing. We use USPS pricing for like shipping, and so I haven't found it to be a barrier. And what I actually found with this campaign specifically is a lot of people have been waiting until I got to this trade paperback stage to order the book in international shipping. They don't want to pay like the huge international, kind of fee for like one issue, right? So this campaign, they have been actually like kind of getting into it and getting the books.
Man, I got to tell you too, and $30 for a 112-page hardcover book is fantastic. This is probably the best deal on Kickstarter right now.
See, that's exactly what I want like backers to feel, right? Like because when you are supporting this project, like I think that you deserve the best deal in that you're literally like, because you are allowing it to be printed, I can make up the cost later, right? At least with the leftover prints, I can make that up. But for you, I want you to like benefit the best out of this campaign. So that's why I'm so glad you said that, because that's what I want backers to feel when they do see the campaign. Like, oh wow, this is like an awesome deal,
Right.
So that's good.
And where are you getting them? Who's your publisher? Where are you getting them published? What do you usually get your stuff done at?
It's self-published, so we like we mail it. We have it printed and we mail it here out of our own homes and offices.
Yeah, where do you so did you find like did you do a lot of research to figure out where's the best place to get the hardcovers printed, or are you using the same printing that you use for your other comics?
No, I did, like I had a lot of research before I launched the campaign, and even the printing company that I go to for single issues, when I call them, they're awesome people. Comic Impressions, you should probably check them out. They were like, printing hardcovers is expensive. Like, you shouldn't do it here. You're like, you should do it overseas. No, seriously, like they're like it's not competitive at all. And so that's what we're doing. And so what I did was like try to find, talk to people, the other creators that have done this, and find any reliable printers that they're using to arrange that.
Okay. And then you get on to the next pledge. Is your digital deluxe bundle has all of your JEMBER series, and you threw in Howie on this one.
Yes. So the first tier has just like the bare bones, what you need, the 112-page book. Now the 112-page PDF, and then the second digital tier is like for people who want to kind of go all out on the digital end. So it has Howie on there. It has an Amharic book on there. It has the Zoom backgrounds, the poetry, and I think we also have a behind-the-scenes package in there.
Okay. And what's the behind-the-scenes package? What do people expect with that?
It's basically, I walk you through the whole process of how we make a book. It's a breakdown of like, this is how I like start a story. This is making up a single page, just breakdown by breakdown, and then also like just Easter eggs I put in to like help people learn more about Ethiopia and just kind of the way I grew up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And then that's your digital Deluxe, and then you went on to for your 54. This is basically the same as your first one, except you threw in physical copies of Howie, correct?
Yes, that's right. This is for people who want to like read all of the universe, right? So there's the book, the volume 1 book. We have the Howie book, and let's see, we also have a bonus JEMBER issue 1 here, which is like if the reason we did that is we wanted people to be able to say, hey, I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the volume 1. I wonder if anybody else will enjoy it. And if they want to kind of share the book, they can just give them
cool.
issue 1 and say, hey, try it out. See if you like it. If you like it, I got this book.
Wow.
And yeah, so we wanted to add that in.
And you got some stickers in there too. And
yeah, there you go. You have it up right next to the tier, the How We stickers right there, the JEMBER sticker. If you scroll down, you'll see it.
Yeah. That's amazing. And then you have, and then you get into it where you get you get further down is like, so the collector's bundle is basically you
just get
about that.
You just get pretty much everything signed. Usually in the collector's bundle, what I like to do is have all the issue 1s of each book, because issue 1s are the most popular. So you have volume 1, you have the JEMBER issue 1s, the How We issue 1s in English and Amharic, and then for this specific campaign, because it's the JEMBER campaign, I added all the 4 issues, the individual issues, and you get all of that autographed. It's like, you can say I've added the first Ethiopian superhero and fantasy comic books to my collection, and they're signed by the creator. So
that is amazing. And then you have and I love seeing Kickstarters do this. Is like you have almost, like I said, like a library bundle or something.
Oh
where it's like
the bulk tier. Yeah, definitely. That in the past also, that's really been helpful for us. I mean, we found awesome people through that, and it's for any local shop, any librarians, any nonprofits who just want to give the books a try. And we're offering if you look at the number of books we're offering and the price, it really and then free shipping. This is like a really good deal. And as I told you, I love offering Kickstarter backers like the best deals. And so, like, imagine like one of the books is $30, and we're offering $10. Like, we're offering 10 of them. We're not even like half. Like, like it's not even 150. Like, it's right. 10 of those books, and then 5 of issue 1 of How We for 180. It's like the lowest I can go is like, all right, this is it.
That's amazing. Yeah, because if you're having a single book at $30, which is already a amazing deal.
Exactly.
If you then say like at least, so you could probably say each book you're getting for $18, and you're throwing in 5 free Howie issues.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like whenever I use Kickstarters, I just make sure that, listen, I just say, like, I'll make up whatever profit and huge revenue, whatever I need later, once this book is actually alive and it's in my hands. For now, I need to reward the backers for being part of this journey. And so that's why I'm like, all right, let me just see how I can go where it makes sense and where it makes them say, oh my God, this is an amazing deal. Right.
And so you haven't been able to, because Howie came out, as you said, your Kickstarter in the fall. Mm-hmm. So how much planning are you doing now with like post-COVID? What are you gonna? So you have your library of collections and things you have now, or has grown significantly. What's your plans for conventions after things settle down?
Well, I mean, this year I decided I'm not going to do any conventions. I definitely miss conventions, and I want to go back once everything is kind of leveled out and kind of show up with full force there. But for now, my focus is going to be like just using Kickstarter and just using our online presence and fulfillment, attending kind of lives to connect with the fans and with backers. We also have like a new project coming up later this year, which is going to expand our storylines. It's like a completely different story than Howie and JEMBER. It's titled Zufan. It's an Afrofuturistic story. It's a retelling, in fact. In a way, it's a retelling of a very key moment in Ethiopian history. It's the retelling of the moment where Ethiopia successfully defended against colonization, and became the only kind of African nation to survive that colonial era. And that story is an amazing story. It's an amazing story of unity, because it was like all these regional leaders at the time were kind of fighting for power, and they just had to unite despite their differences to combat like an outside aggressor. Otherwise, it's just like be colonized. And so it's like an amazing story that I think deserves a shine, especially in our time where I feel like people don't know how to disagree these days. It's just like everybody has been polarized to the other end, and so it's like, you can't even move past something, even though you disagree. And I want to tell stories of how to disagree properly and how to move forward for a common goal. And I think that story tells it the best. And that's coming later this year. So hopefully it goes well too.
And with that said, so that you said this is kind of separate from your superhero universe.
Yes.
It's more about what's
a standalone. Yeah.
A standalone. What's next for the Etan Comics? Is it you're going to have Howie Howie issue 3 coming out soon?
Yes, that's right. Yep. So after this volume 1 kind of wraps up the JEMBER arc, the first arc. And so the next thing I'm going to be focusing on is going to be Howie and this new story, Zufan, I just told you about, and just try to make Howie advance to the same level as JEMBER, where we can kind of wrap the first arc. And because the point of intersection is going to be coming soon, and we need to make sure that the story advances to some level before we continue JEMBER back again. So those are going to be where I focus on.
Okay, and like in your idea, and so looking at it from like a storytelling or like a publishing perspective, like you're being explicit to make sure that you try out a different type of genre of graphic novel to let people know that we're not just doing superhero comics, we're doing some educational pieces too.
Absolutely. It's not even, I don't even want to claim it like as an educational piece. It's literally, it's fiction. It's going to be like, it's going to be like, I'm like, the genre name is like escaping me, but it's like an Afrofuturistic story. It's like Star Wars merged with 300, like if you can imagine that. And it's like, I just want to, the reason I'm doing it is because, or I want us to go down this path, is because I don't want us to be pigeonholed into superhero stories only, or just fantasy stories only. I want in the future, my goal is for other writers, other African artists to come together in this platform and tell even slice of life stories or other awesome African stories that just entertain people, right? And so I want to show that we have that bandwidth to expand into different genres. And that's really why I wanted to tell Zufan. I think it's a great way to branch out. I feel like nowadays people are like burnt out a little bit of the superhero genre, even because of Marvel and DC and all the different things we're seeing. Even though they're awesome, it still has a little bit of a barrier that creates whenever you say, I created another superhero. It's like, oh, okay. But I still think there's so much room for superhero stories. Just to say, like, I think that there's so many untold superhero stories from different cultures. But at the same time, I do want us to explore different genres. I don't want us to be just like one specific, genre.
And any work on the poetry piece too? Is there like illustrated poetry stuff or anything?
Man,
like
that? I don't write poetry. I wish I could. I mean, maybe I'll get into it in the future. But maybe. I mean, I don't like. For me, I try not to like just stay in one thing too much and just I'm open to it. I'll say that much.
Well, this is great. I tell you, I am. Congratulations again on reaching your goal.
Thank you.
And you're it's pretty confident you're going to be able to hit that your next stretch goal. Do you have something else? You know, you don't have to say specifically what it is. Do you have something else that's set up for other stretch goals? Because you're probably going to hit this one pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we do hit it. I do have two more lined up
Okay.
if we have room to hit it, and hopefully that they excite fans. The more and more higher we go up, they excite fans. We have, as I told you, like my best expectations was 50% funded. I did not expect to be pulling out stretch goal rewards at this time. But I'm very, very thankful for it. And I do hope, I mean, we have 16 days left, and I do hope we go through all the stretch goals. I do hope we reward the backers as much as possible.
Right. Cool. That is exciting stuff. Well,
Yeah.
So where can people find you, Beserat? It's Etan Comics. Is that your best place
Yes.
to look for?
There you go. Yeah, you can either on or whether it's on social media or our website. Everything is the same. It's ETAN Comics at ETAN Comics. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. I'm most responsive usually on Instagram, but you can reach me on other platforms. It's not like I kind of go out of connection for like days or something like that. You can email us, through our website, and yeah, jump on our Kickstarter. I'm an easygoing guy. I love talking to people. I help people, and reach out if you want to talk.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
That's right. This has
you.
been great. And you got to come back on. I said at least by
And 40 episodes,
episode one.
yeah.
Yeah, another 40 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your Howie and your Jember right behind you.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I'm just trying to like position right for you. There we
And
go.
weren't those are part of like your previous Kickstarters. Those were part of your tier, right? That people could get
Yeah,
those
exactly.
posters.
So yeah, the how we one was the part of the previous one. Now it's the Jember one. that's
Okay.
that's part of the tier for this one. But even for that, like it expired. It was only I only offer these in early bird tiers because
Okay.
they they get expensive when you try to like do them to everybody, especially because whenever we kind of ship stuff, we like really go all out. We got like tubes and it's like the protective covers and everything. So
Right.
I'm afraid to like offer them like widespread. So what I
Right.
do is I just offer them the first early birds, like first 72 hours. If you get it, I got you. I'll take care of you all out. But if you miss out, then I can't bump up.